that. I look forward to its passage through the House.
Greg O'Connor.
I think rise as a member of the Justice Select Committee, and just many have spoken about how busy the committee is. What the clerk told me that that committee met 2/3 of the time of any other select committees put together, just to reinforce the comments from both sides of the House on what a fine committee we have and well chaired. This could be a bill that you could really, it's a journey through history to how we arrive at this place, because these three provisions, the main provisions that we're repealing here, have great historical context. Blasphemy. One only has to visit the great democratic institutions, the art institutions, the music institutions of Europe, just to understand the role that religion and the church played in society, leading up to really the time that many of our ancestors, from European ancestors, came to this land. So it is just, as we are now regarded as one of the more secular countries in the world, that we now are removing what is something that would have been highly relevant at the time it was introduced, simply because of the hold that the church and religion had on our society. And I can't help but reflect that as we mature as a society, that those New Zealanders who come fresh from their homelands, as all our ancestors did, whether it was Hawaii or Ireland in my case, that they will bring their beliefs and religions with them. That what a good example to show that there is in the new world, perhaps the relevance of those old ways can be forgotten, and that we embrace being part of the Pacific. We quite happily talk about South Americans, someone from Argentina being a South American. Do we happily call a New Zealander a Pacific Islander? I certainly think that the day will come when we will. Likewise, I look at the year and the day provision. What that is, of course, historically, if you were to receive a wound, in fact, while World War I is just finished, we look at the number of people that died of very minor wounds because of infections, various other things. We've fixed that, and people who would have been expected to die of relatively minor wounds in the past now will survive major trauma and may actually go on for up to 5 years, which case, but it's distinct cause. Just a good example of that, police have been revising the wall at the college where those who were slain on duty, killed by a criminal act. There are a new name will go on there, because when they did historically, they found that people had died about 5 years later of wounds that they sustained on duty. And of course, the third part about it is the removal of accessory after the fact, where someone who did assist their spouse to escape a crime as an accessory could claim immunity. That is no longer the case, and again, what better reflection of New Zealand society, the number of people that actually do not enjoy what we would consider marriage, or the sanctity of marriage, that those relationships which last a lifetime but without actually being formally part of marriage. So, Mr Speaker, great walk through history looking at these provisions, and I'm very happy to recommend it to the House.
Matt King.
Speaker, pleasure to speak briefly, very briefly on this Crimes Amendment Bill. I'd like to acknowledge